What's up, everybody? I have been on one grand adventure with Henry and Lord Capon in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game, at first, I didn't know if I was going to like it. The mechanics were a little kind of hard and kind of janky. But as I continued to play and I got better and I upgraded Henry, I ended up falling completely in love with this game. This has been one of the best games of the year, really of the past year as well. Just right off the bat, if I had to review it, I would give it a probably a 90. I'd give it a 90 on that teacher scale. It's an A, but as far as the content and how much you can get out of the game, it would be closer to a 98 or something. But there are some flaws within the game. To start off, let's look at some of the pros first. The story is great. I actually tried the first Kingdom Come Deliverance. I played it for a good while, so I understood kind of what happened to Henry because of the little bit of time I played in the first one. But I won't lie, I didn't give it enough time. It was the fighting and stuff. It was just a little too hard for me. My mindset wasn't prepared for it yet. But I kept seeing the good reviews for this one. I said, you know what? I got to dive in it. I got to get into it. And as I played the game, you fall in love with Henry and Lord Capon, and then Godwin comes in. He's this awesome priest. You fall in love with all these characters. I was telling my wife about it. She's not much of a gamer, but I was telling her they really need to make a movie out of this. They should use the same people too, because I've been following a little bit of them on TikTok and social media. But if they can act like this in the game, that they could probably do it in a real situation as well. But they could make a movie. People would love it. The story is great. The characters is great. As far as the environment you're in, it's that recreation of those areas in that medieval time. It is so good. I love just running through the world. The random things that'll pop out and happen. It's crazy. Uh, you can just be riding your horse and all of a sudden a bandit comes out and they'll kill you. And then if you ain't had a previous save, you're kind of in trouble. But that makes the game world, it's just so alive. Uh, it's funny. There's a whole lot of comedy in it. Some of the choices the things you can say, you'll do it, then you kind of shake your head at it because it's so funny. But on the flip side, it's also brutal. I'm talking about it is a very brutal game. Some of the stuff it shows and the deaths. But when you put that whole package together, you can make it almost anything you want it to be. And I highly recommend this game. But there are some cons with the game. At first, it is hard. Until you upgrade Henry a little bit, you're going to die a whole lot. You're going to get beat up in just random fist fights. It is pretty tough. But as you level him up, he does become, you can make him pretty much a hero if you want to, if you really work at it. But it can be kind of hard. The horse riding, to me, I never really grasped the horse riding very well. I could do it, but it's something. I want to move the right stick, and you think it would change the direction of the horse, but it don't do that. You move the right stick, and it's just Henry will look, but the horse is still going in the same direction. You're guiding him with the left stick. I wish they would have made that when you hit the right stick, it changes the direction of the horse. Or that confused me some. But there's some wonky controls in it. Even the first person view threw me off for a little bit because I haven't played one like that in a while. But if you give it time, you adjust to all of that though. It's also something I noticed. It's very vulgar. This isn't a game for the young folks. It deserves its M rating. Not just the gore, the brutality I was talking about earlier, but it's very vulgar. It cusses like crazy. One of the things I like, it brings up Jesus and the church a whole lot. Of course, it's going through the Catholic Church back then, the Orthodox Church, things like that. But you see that they'll do something horrible. They'll be cussing people out, doing the lust of the flesh, things like that, and murdering people. And then all of a sudden, you'll go pray for somebody who's sick, which I did like how they bring in Christianity within it. It's done fairly well, but you can kind of tell they're all a bunch of hypocrites. I guess even in our world today, there's a lot of people like that. But when you really look at it, I don't know if there's really anybody that's super good in the game. Now you can play Henry super good, but it's hard to do that because of some of the story missions that you get cast into. But most of the characters, they're not very wholesome. So I do even the priest, I really liked him, but he's pretty much a drunk priest. He's done been kicked out of his parish. You don't find just many straight up wholesome characters within the game, and I wish they would have added a little bit more of that in there in case you wanted to go that good route. You had some characters that could do that with you, but there are some bugs in the game. My game actually shut off on me like 3 times. One time I got a warning. It said, "Hey, you better save because the game's gonna shut off." I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a Microsoft thing or a Warhorse thing through the game. But my game did shut off multiple times on me. There was times my character would get stuck or my dog will get stuck. By the way, the dog's awesome. Find him immediately. Take care of him. But things like that would happen. The game has some bugs, but it's such a big game. You know, you do overlook some of that. As far as the dog, you find your dog. You do have to take care of him. You got to feed him. You got to pet him. If you don't do that, his morale kind of gets low and he won't pay attention to you. You know, you got to kind of take care of your horse. It can do things like that. It can buck you off. It also has that where you've got to eat and do things like that. And you've got to sleep. If you don't do it, you know, you'll pass out. If you don't eat, you get sick and all of that. That gets kind of old. I kind of get what they're going. They're trying to make it realistic, but it gets old. They do later on. There's an awesome gameplay mechanic that comes in a story mission with hunger, where you're just trying to find something to eat, and you finally find something. You're like, "Oh, thank goodness, I found something to eat." But overall, it gets a little old when you have to do that. You know, that management stuff, the way they've got it. But the great thing is, as you upgrade Henry, you can get different perks where his hunger, it takes him a long time before he gets hungry. So they did put things in there to kind of help with that. But some people will be turned off, by that. But those are kind of the cons. But I'm gonna tell you, the goodness of the game, it outshines all of that. And as far as my recommendation, I highly recommend Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't think you can go wrong. Again, it's not for the young ones. This is a mature game, but just the story, the characters, the world, uh, you can't find much better right now, especially if you love the medieval stuff. I'm more of the dragons and type stuff, and I like medieval fantasy, and that's what kept me away a little bit from the first one and this one. But they gonna get you, even if you're about the dragons, because there's none of that stuff in this game. It's more of a realistic take on it. But even if you're into that, I'm gonna tell you, you'll be into this. So I highly recommend it. Y'all go check it out. I'd love to hear what you think about the game. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great one.